All right, so today we're going to talk about ions. So ions are what happens when either an atom or a group of atoms either gains or loses electrons. So the first thing that might happen is if it gains electrons, it's going to have an overall negative charge because it will have more electrons than protons. Okay, so 3 examples we're going to take a look at and what happens. First of all, chlorine in group 17 has 7 valence electrons. If it gains one, it's going to have an overall -1 charge. Oxygen in group 16 has 6 valence electrons, so it will gain 2 electrons to become -2. And then nitrogen in group 15 will gain 3 electrons to become -3. Something that happens when you have a negative ion, you add on the suffix IDE. So chlorine becomes chloride, a chloride ion. Oxygen becomes oxide, oxide ion. Nitrogen becomes nitride, nitride ion. Okay. The opposite happens with metals. They lose electrons. When you lose electrons, you have an overall positive charge. So 3 examples of that. Sodium in group 1, if it loses its 1 valence electron, it has a +1 charge. Magnesium in group 2 has a +2 charge. Then aluminum in group 13 would have an overall +3 charge as it loses its 3 valence electrons. So the name doesn't change. It just turns into a sodium ion, a magnesium ion, or an aluminum ion. Okay. So one thing to do is remember your valence electrons for groups 1 and 2, 1 or 2, and then 13 through 18, which is 3 through 8. Okay. A general rule is if you have less than 4 valence electrons, you're going to tend to lose electrons. If you have more than 4 valence electrons, you tend to gain electrons.